nobody likes the responsibility, but still, like, they need to understand if something happens, you can solve it. You, in your, like, from your perspective, you pushing a team to solve it. So it's like, it's a dance, it's like endless fighting, it's like endless finding point of balance in this leadership. But still, like, if you will go, for example, and say it like, hey team, here is our like vision, here is our strategy, we need to implement this.
Whether you want more innovation more easily, you are feeling burnt out or overwhelmed, or you simply know that something isn't quite the way you know it can be, you are not alone. I hear the same from leaders every day. On Uncommon Leadership, we explore aligning personal fulfillment with business success, creating authentic teams, and cultivating the resilience, adaptability, and ease necessary to move beyond simply surviving today's challenges into thriving. I'm Michael Hunter with Uncommon Teams, and today we'll uncover fresh insights into what it means to lead in the world today. Joining me is Oksana Kovalchuk. Oksana wrote her first line of code when she was 5. She's been running her user experience design agency, ANODA, for 15 years and working as a software development and consultant for 22. Between everything on her plate as the Chief Everything Officer, she helps startups to not die fast. Welcome, Oksana.
Hi everyone, hi our listeners. Thank you for having me today.
When did you first recognize that integrating your whole self and bringing that into everything that you do might be a valuable approach?
It's an interesting question because everywhere, overall, when I started this company, I called it ANODA, and it's like it means another from Jamaican. Because I worked in big outsourcing giants like EPAM, Cyclone, where you have like 12,000 of employees, so it's like a huge enterprise company. And I've noticed that people are not connected. So clients, they are somewhere there in the world, like through the ocean, and like, they receiving some kind level of service which is not even related to what was promised. The team itself, like IT and dev software, all that stuff were expanded like in 2010 and some years before, and it was exponentially growth. And people, like, sometimes, I don't know, it was yesterday trainee who just finished some 3 months courses or some short educational program, and right now this person is assigned to healthcare project, for example, and the project manager is the same. And like HR and like management people, they just trying to control, I don't know how to even say this properly, like all these people. But I don't know, from my side right now, from management side, it's like, I don't know, it's like very uneducated, like orchestra. So on that stage I decided I just can't do this anymore. And every single new company that I've tried like to find for myself just to work in, it was like somehow the same. There wasn't like a huge difference. And then I just said, okay, I want to do it another way, because like I studied in Sweden. I worked a lot directly with United States clients before, and for me such level of management, it was like, it was ridiculous. It was something that's like, really, it's possible, like how is it possible? So on this point I decided, okay, I will bring my own vision to my company, to my management style, my style of leadership, and just won't follow any of these patterns.
How would you describe your leadership style?
Something between Stalin and like nice Steve Jobs, because I don't believe it's like, in leadership you can have a lot of democracy To be honest, it's impossible. How as many people, as many different opinions. And if you are leader, you push people to go with you, hand by hand with you, or either you drive them. And very first, you must be their point B. So they somewhere in their point A right now, in their career, personal achievements, like professional achievements, whatever. You must be their point B. If you, I'm sorry, I will say it like, if you are nothing, people wouldn't listen to you. If you are nothing, you have no accomplishments, you can't, people can't rely on you like your people, you wouldn't be a leader. Yeah, you can be a body, you can be a dude, maybe you can have some kind of respect because of your title. That's a maximum. The second one, you must know how to solve these problems. Everything that happens daily, you can be not like you can skip the vocal part and saying about these solutions. You can push on your team to find that solutions, but backwards you must to know how to solve this, because anyways it will give you that level of confidence, how you gonna speak to your people, how you gonna like push on them, how you're gonna ask them. So everything matters, because from one side it's still like Hunger Games. From one side, from other side, like you want to push these people to grow as leaders, because like if you're just creating like a Stalin style dictatorship, no new small Stalins will appear. It's not your point. You need to have like this freedom of saying different opinions. In the same time, no freedom and no tolerance to BS that will just waste everybody's time. So it's something in the middle, but still like fully concentrated on like final decisions on problem statement as well as solving these problems, something like that.
100% that you, as the leader, need to have a vision and help your team know where they're going. Absolutely. That is your job. For if you, as the leader, have to know how to solve every problem, then how are you growing if you already know how to do everything you need to do? How do you balance that out?
Like it's impossible to know everything like on 100%, but from one side, all these problems, the new stage of this problem will somewhere end. I call it like the scout method. So, for example, if we will write down every new problem, every new situation in a list, I think around 10 or 15th case, it starts repeating. It just starts repeating the same situation, and we already know how to solve it. It's more about like person who, I don't know, who managed or doing something like 1 or 2 years can become very good manager. It's still a learner. For me, like in my head, person can become really like a senior on this position after 5 years on doing something, because it's more about how many different situations you had, how many different cases you solved, and you just needed time for this. Then regarding the team, still like if you're a good leader, if you pushing like this leadership on the top, the team can like at least feel that can they can rely on you. Yeah, they will try to push on responsibility on you also. Every single time, like nobody likes the responsibility. But still, like they need to understand if something happens, you can solve it. You in your like from your perspective, you pushing a team to solve it. So it's like it's a dance, it's like endless fighting, it's like endless finding point of balance in this leadership. But still like if you will go for example and say it like, hey team, here is our vision, here is our strategy, we need to implement this. To be honest, I worked with different teams from A level players up to almost no name startups. Nobody except founders can do this. Just I never saw that. And in the same time, if you continue pushing the team, then yep, you can get some results and you can start growing your own small leaders.
So I'm still. I think I'm hearing two different things. I'm not sure how to sync them up. One is that when we start as a leader, we're encountering problems we don't know how to solve left and right. And part of becoming an experienced leader is building up solutions, teach those an experience and working through them. And then earlier, I think I heard you say that to be a good leader, we have to know how to solve a problem. So how do these two meld together? Does that mean I can't be a good leader until I know how to solve everything?
Overall, to become a leader, you need to understand how to solve at least something. So I'm more talking about you can become a leader just because you wrote this in LinkedIn title, for example. You need to have some experience with this. Experience inside the team as a team player, for example, and you solve your part of this case. Either you start with something small with a small team, whereas not all cases are really hard to solve. Some of them is just obvious. For example, I don't know, you need to achieve some sales, you need to sell 5 projects. Your team selling 4 projects per month. Right now you need to fulfill KPI of 5 projects. It's obvious how to do this. It's not a scale in 200 or in 500 persons instead of just 20. So here is you start gathering this confidence, and after that you get it, then you can move to the biggest and biggest cases. Because I don't know, if you somehow landed in situation where you have almost no experience in leadership, and right now you need to be, I don't know, the crisis manager, like a C-level crisis manager in a company of 50 or 100 people, your chances not so high to get it successfully. That's what I mean.
Okay, I think I get it. Let me say this back and see if I have this right. It's not that to be a leader, I have to know how to solve every problem. It's that the process of learning how to solve the problems I encounter is what helps me become a leader. And what transforms me from someone on the team who is solving my part and leaving everyone else to solve their parts into a leader who is managing the whole process is how much I take the process I'm developing for solving my part of the problems, interact with the other people who are solving their parts of the puzzle, understanding how they're approaching solving their parts of the problem, helping them identify where their process for solving problems might have rooms for improvement, and integrating all of that into my process, and also helping all of us integrate each other's process into the bigger solution. Do I have that right?
Yeah, overall it's some kind of waterfall of responsibilities and problem solving. What's going on?
If I'm one of these leaf nodes who is solving my problem, and I think I'm doing really well, I see that other people seem to be struggling with their parts, and there doesn't seem to be anyone coordinating all of us to help us solve our own pieces, let alone integrate them together. How can I start talking with my peers, with people up my organizational hierarchy, to start bringing some of that assistance in, whether that's me offering and helping it or finding other people who should be doing this for us and helping them provide that?
Tricky question. So the very first, I love the phrase. It's my motto. Good dude. It's not a profession. So even if person like very good communicator, fast learner, etc., but has no clue what he or she is doing, no. Like I with all respect to like emotional intelligence, whatever, soft skills, etc. If there is no hard skills at all, no. What I'm seeing like for like 20 years, it's like people who are high level professionals, high level performance, they wanted to work with same people. That's a rule. In every single team, when I'm seeing like the person who just can't get on that level, just can't get, I'm given like around 3 months. Like I'm taking like a one-to-one session, or I assign my HRD to do this and said, okay, give this person 3 months. Either like he or she jumps on that level, or we just saying goodbye. The same is here. If for example in your team you okay with all tasks, it's not a problem, but you seen like your peers is struggling, you if you can accomplish this task, you can understand their level of competence. So if problem is in time, the task is new, maybe it's not clear, it's very first time when they doing this, explain. Explain again. I'm always saying like, hey guys, here is your onboarding, or it's the very first time when we're working together. Here your like card on unlimited questions. It works for 3 days. You can ask me whatever you want, how many times you need, etc. On my side, I'm always checking how many times I'm receiving the same questions. Like totally the same. So for me it's not person can understand either what I'm saying, it's my problem, either like person is lost. So during all this period, like cool down period, I'm saying, okay, what type of questions goes, what do we see, like what's our progress? If there is just endless repetitive questions, endless blockers, and when I'm asking like what's about our status today, it's like I'm allergic, I have itchy to the phrase my phone died. So it's speaking about zero responsibility. It's not your phone died, you didn't charge your phone in time to attend the meeting. Let's translate it like in real world. So and the first one, if on for this person phone always died, Bob didn't provide the task, I don't know, the task feedback, Megan didn't send email, no, thank you very much, goodbye. It's a soft skill when person just can't take the responsibility. I can't work with such people. Yes, they can find good place in another company, etc. Have a good result, just not in mine. That's it. But if person said, okay, I did, I talked to the chat GPT, I Google it, here is my results. I see like option A or B. I think it will be option A, but I can't make this decision because I have no clue. To be honest, it's just a guess. But what do you think? What I'm hearing, I did the research. I spent my own time before asking you to understand the domain subject or understand the task. I already tried to investigate. I spoke to Reddit, to anyone in the internet, to my peers in like to my friends, etc., and grabbed some kind of information, thought about it, and here is like my conclusion. In the end, I'm still like not an expert in this area, but here is my two guesses, two my best guesses, and here I need just to choose to whom I want to work with. Of course, the second person, the effort, there's something that this person brings to the table, it's for the team. It's not like this person here not just to take but to give something. That's what important. If you have only takers in the team, you're in the wrong room.
Indeed. I heard several important points in there. One is when other people don't seem to be doing their job, get curious about what's going on. It may be that what they feel their job is very different from what you believe their job is. And then that's a clarification that can be worked out. It may be that they 100% agree with you on what their job is, and they don't have the data to do it, or the background, or the knowledge, where something is missing that either they recognize and don't feel comfortable asking, or they don't recognize. And if you can help them recognize what's missing, then that's a huge service to them and to you in your larger team. And then the third is that we always have a way to take control over our situation. If everything that we're recognizing seems to be things outside our control, there's something that we're missing. To use your example, if we notice that our phone is always running out of charge, that's not something that we have to just put up with. We can keep track of what's going on when it runs out of charge, and then walk back and identify what we're missing on why we forget to charge it. We can see that we're always putting it into charge, but it never charges, and we aren't noticing that until it's too late. And so we can look at, well, why isn't our charger working? There's always something farther back that chain that we have control over, even if the end result that we start with seems like something that we don't have control over. That is super comforting, because it means that however out of control our situation seems to be, there's always a way to bring it back into our control, which isn't to say that we can necessarily change the outcome of what's happening, or we can't instantly make everything perfect, but we can always take steps to make it better. So you're going in as a UX consultant, working with people for an hour a day, a week, a month, longer. In that situation, it's super helpful, critical for you to be able to go in and appear to be an authority right away, start adding value immediately, and yet also make clear that you're taking your time to understand their problem and their context before making suggestions. As you're doing this, how are you helping the people you work with feel safe and empowered to explain to you what their context, what their problems, what their situation actually is, so you can understand what the actual problem is and not just what everyone is presenting the problem to you as?
Like usually I just have the safe environment. So I always said like, hey guys, like IT nerds, we just like we have sometimes bad reputation around like regular people like who are not IT or like not tech related. So like stop judging. It's the very first point. The second one, safe environment. So the small talk, what's going on, etc. And I'm always putting the vibe, I'm here to help. That's not my business to judge. That's not my business to put the labels. To not say, oh my god, who did this design? Are you blind? You didn't recognize it. No, the person to whom I'm speaking can be not an expert in this area. That's why we have this conversation. That's why he came for me like into doctor. I'm, for example, the cardiologist. Yeah, I feel like something bad in my chest, so probably it's a heart. And when I come in like to the hospital, I'm not hearing from the cardiologist, oh my god, what's going on there? What did you eat? Like you drinking 20 cups of coffee? No way. No, because like we will be scared. We will run away in like lightning speed from that hospital, from that doctor. The same is here. Like, yeah, I'm hearing different stories. Sometimes after call, I need just to drink a water because different ideas, different backgrounds. Some of them are just not connecting with physics or common sense. It also happens. But from my side, like on the first introduction I recall, or when I'm just trying to dig inside the project, I'm here just to listen. Nothing. I'm here like asking, clarifying, seeing the problems. Maybe sometimes with my question I can put some light on huge elephant in the room, like nobody wanna like to see it, but still just safe environment to get what's going on. Overall, based on my experience, even with UX, with the technical side of the projects and teams, number level of the problems and number of different cases of these problems, they're limited. So when I come into the company and they said, okay, we have problems with our user experience in application, and based on the symptoms, I already understand the diagnosis. Like I don't need to spend like days, weeks of asking or research. I just check in the app. I'm seeing like what problem company has, match it together, and said, okay, let's sit together. We have a conversation. That's how it goes.
What is it that you're doing when you come in that lets to create that safe space so that people can tell you what they're actually feeling in their chest versus what they think you want to hear about what might be going on in their chest because they're worried that you're going to judge them for having too much coffee or eating too much of the wrong kind of food?
Usually, if I see like the person nervous or like stressed, just show your own vulnerability. Say something about some fact about yourself where you're struggling, and like mirror neurons will do the job on the other side. So for example, if I will say like, oh, I'm really struggling with the coffee today, it's a fifth cup and I just can't get out, you probably say, I know how that feels. Yeah, and me, because you want from psychology, like you want to also put something in this conversation. If we're talking about the user experience, for example, I always and endless can complain on my own website. It's like a funny, sarcastic story when you're doing this for everyone, but your own website looks like, I don't know, it's like fifth grade did this. So I can put on the table like, hey, yeah, I know your pain with the website because I just finished yelling, for example, on my developer because they still did not release that animation, and I'm totally pissed off. So, and then, for example, other sites said, oh, yes, we have the same problems and this. Because like you just need to open this, like remove the tape row, and it will start floating. Because as a people, we love complain. Just open the door and start taking the notes.
And in the situations that you're coming into, I imagine sometimes it's, hey, we have an awesome app and we want to make it 1800% more awesome. Will you please help us, Oksana? And however, most of the time it's, we know we have some serious problems. We don't know how to fix them. Will you please help us? So they're already coming to you because they're full of complaints or concerns. And all that you need to do in those initial minutes is help them understand how common those complaints or concerns are, and that it's not something that they did wrong. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person or a bad team or a bad company. That the what you need them to do is let you know what's actually going on so that you can help them fix it.
Yeah, in this case, it's very important to calm them down, because when people understand, for example, like, I don't know, something is really wrong, and really wrong, it's like too late, like it's a total disaster there. So the first, you're ashamed, you very frustrated, and like you don't want to talk about this, but you must. And in this situation, the best for me, what's working for me, it's highlight the example where the point A was much worse than this person has or this team has. And then they just relax it. Oh, so you help for people where it's like application dying, or it was just impossible disaster. Like, we worked, for example, with a fintech application, governance, etc. It's like 90% of fintech applications integrating with this app. But it was, I call it 50 shades of gray, because they have no colors. Design was created like in 90s and never changed. So like analysts, business and like fintech analysts, market analysts, they're working with it. They can't do anything without this program. But like, it's a huge elephant in the room that everybody knows but don't want to talk about this. And they charge like around 40,000-50,000 per one seat for one analyst per month, with like 2 years contract. And they can say it's hard to sign off like the new clients. I said, okay, give me a demo. They gave me a demo. I said, okay, I understand why they don't want to sign this, but we need to start with something. And in this case, for example, we started with fixes that just common sense. Like, everybody knows like your website should be scrolling not horizontally but vertically. It's a common sense knowledge. The same is here. And then step by step we integrated that. We removed very legacy and outdated design. We replaced it on something new, which is really robust, but in the same time we didn't change a lot of everything, because people who worked with this software from 90s like to 2025, yeah, they like 35 years with it, they almost married with this software. And if we will significantly change something, they will be frustrated. So we tried like to sit on both chairs in same time. So when I haven't like leads like or new people who came to me and said, okay, Oksana, we have software but it's not perfect, I said, hey guys, I can show you something what I can say not perfect. They say, I'm showing like some examples. We even designed fake very ugly screens just to come down on the press sale. They said, oh no, it's not so horrible like this. And then they easily share the screen, they easily provide the information, because they understood they are not the worst application in the world.
Yeah, and you have so much experience with so many different companies that I imagine you always have an example of something that is much, much worse, no matter how horrible theirs is. And you're also being really clear from the start that this doesn't have to be a throw everything out, start over tomorrow and it's going to be 5 years before you get to anything, but then, oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. It, it that everything can be done through a series of small movements, small changes that are easy to do, low risk, provide immediate value, move everything forward, and make it a little bit easier to make the next change.
Yeah, like, because, oh, sorry. Yeah, you, even if you want to start running the marathon, you can talk to the chat GPT and it will write down to, if you never run for a long distance, you need to start with a small chance. If you never run, you, I don't know, you can't run for 2 minutes infinitely. Start with fast walking, few seconds of run, then back to walking, again few seconds of run. And here is your small steps. The other like downside of this, not all people understand that, for example, if you want to run the marathon, you need to start running, not cooking, for example. And it's also like really important thing, because sometimes I'm seeing teams like, hey, we want to like to you to get like our design leadership, for example, but like I'm asking, okay, what you did previously for this. He said, we set up a very good system for our tasks. It's not related. It's the same, like I want to run marathon, but I'm learning how to bake a cake. So it's also like important thing.
As you're talking with these people and helping them understand what their problem really is, how do you bring in what the business value they're going to actually experience, which very often I imagine is exactly what they want it to be, yet coming to it from a very different direction than they expect?
Hmm. Usually it's very measurable thing, because user experience is something that you can, I don't know, measure with a ruler, really. For example, if we're talking about internal software, you can set the timer and see how many clicks, like, or how many seconds it takes for you to fill one ticket. If you're working with a support, to handle one single chat, one single request, etc., and then multiply on the business hours. For example, we worked with Amazon, one of the suppliers of Amazon. They do providing automation of the warehouse. So our main task was cut down the cost on the labor and speed up everything like on the warehouse. So speed up everything. We love such tasks. Like zero KPIs, we need to do something, but do it fast, reliable, and measurable. Okay, we love it. So we start first with reviewing the business process itself, what's going on. So here is we have the robotic line. Here we have like the real workers, like employees who working in this warehouse based on the map on their like, it's a mix of Apple Watch and like small phone on their like device, and they're tracking where the parcel or something that they need to pick up and put it on the robot. Um, so okay, the first one we're checking why it's so long, why it takes 5 seconds for them after arriving on the point to press that this parcel is on the robot. They are in gloves. It's cold in this warehouse. It doesn't matter is it summer or winter. It's cold and they wearing the gloves. And the buttons on this small device are too small to press it with gloves, and even for the male finger, it's too big button. So they pressing it with a rib on the finger. We noticed that we increased the buttons. You have two huge buttons: found, can't found, red and green. The second one, There's like a lot of text written down, like you need to go to that like stand, find the shelf number X and pick the parcel and the size. Okay, 20 minutes to pick up. We check in, we start talking like with managers. I said, I don't know, they are too slow. If one person's slow, I can understand. 90% can be slow, it's problem in the system. They don't speak English. They just don't speak English. It's slow, like qualification, slow paid job. So the English level is like not fluent, and it takes time for them to translate what's written on the screen. They speak like different languages. Their like first language is like different, not only like Spanish, either like any other. We put more icons. Everybody understands the icons, like the first example of user experience, traffic signs. Just you don't need understand, I don't know, Korean to understand traffic signs in the Seoul. You don't need to know German to understand traffic signs in Berlin. The same as here. We put icons inside the application on these buttons and everything, and we did interactive map from 20 minutes to 2 minutes, 10 time increase in the speed. Like it's obvious, it's very obvious, but you need to investigate this and understand what's going on. Some companies, we wasn't like the very first company where they came to us. They like nobody asked that question. Like they updated buttons, they renovated full user experience, like UI of our application. They said colors are not enough contrast. We updated UI, but it didn't change something really significantly. That's why you need to understand in which case how your application gonna be used, by whom it gonna be used, what problems experience that users, really users of your application. Because in the end of this like warehouse application, end user wasn't the company, end user were workers in that warehouse. So when we start talking to them, speaking to them, then we start to understand their problems.
I love all these examples. They're so simple, so obvious. In many cases, other people have been through trying to help with this and not solving the problem. And all it took was you asking some very simple questions and doing some observations on what was actually going on versus what someone who thought they knew what was going on was telling you what was actually going on. And it strikes me that everything we've been talking about today is a very clear, simple slide translation over to leadership. How many times have we been in meetings where some official leader talks for 20 minutes with all sorts of big words on the amazing transformation that they're putting the entire company through, and everyone comes out of that meeting having no idea what is actually going to happen? How many times have leaders shown up with a team and said, you are too slow, to have too many customer issues, you take too long to push code out to production. Therefore, we are going to make this change. New process, new software, kick you out, bring a new team in, bring in a new manager because yours must not be doing the work. Without ever actually asking and watching what the process actually is, how it's actually working, and understanding what's actually going wrong. And very often, all that we need to do is increase the size of the buttons. Make all that text into some different form that's digestible for people who have a different learning style, where it's just simpler for everyone to understand regardless of whatever complication they have in interpreting it.
Yeah, totally agree, because right now people they put in more on innovation. Everybody wants innovation. I think you have had the same feeling, like every single company right now, we need to integrate AI, and nobody knows what it's gonna do. Like nobody knows what this AI will optimize. Nobody knows real possibilities of the AI, and from my side, it's really overhyped. Yep, it's cool thing to have, but how it's like promoted and what it exactly can do, it's two different things. Like for example, like in my life, user experience, it's something that, even like this glass, it has its own user experience. It's like has these small bubbles. It's nice, but for example, it's hard to wash. Yeah, will put it in the dishwasher, probably it's okay. If you will wash it with your own hands, you will be pretty pissed off with this. Here is the user experience, how we like interact with simple things daily. The same, for example, I have a microwave in this apartment, and I can just press button how I already used to, like 35 years. I'm pressing one single button like 1 minute, and that's all what I need. If I need 2 minutes, I'm pressing button 2 times. But in this time, Samsung company, they decided to have the like slider, like touch slider, touch interface. It slides all the time 30 minutes for me. So for like half of the year, if I want to like to eat something that I need to heat up, I end up eating like some boiled food. And that's my user experience with this. So even if we lead in the teams, we talking to the people, it's our user experience with these people, how they used to communicate, what their was previous experience, and they used to like their set of rules of the communication, it's their user experience. That's how, that's their interface, how we're gonna talk to them. So as if we wanted to be a good leader, we need to differentiate the very first user experience, how we need to communicate with particularly this person, with I'm trying to comfort this person to do something. That's all. So if you see like proactive person, or either like this person tries to do something and has some results, help to achieve. If you're trying just to comfort person and said okay next time, like you're a cheerleader, you are not that leader that you're supposed to be to this team. Then just find either another teammate, either another way to like have a user experience with this user.
I like that framing of leadership a lot, Oksana, of understanding what is the UX that that person is providing to us. How well does that match against the UX that we expect, that we're comfortable with, and then who can we bring in to help us bring those two closer into alignment? A lot of what we're talking about today is helping people find their way through the change, uncertainty, and overwhelm that they are experiencing. What else do you do to help people move through that faster?
It's really depends on the person and situation, to be honest, because sometimes you just need kick one ass, to be honest, to fly higher, like push person, say fly my bird, fly high, and that's okay. It happens. But if you see like the person who constantly overwhelmed with the tasks, a lot of things on the plate, etc., and it's barely moving around, you need to ask yourself two questions. First, I call it simulation of doers. So some people, I remember it was in Zootopia and Alice Wonderland, where is the what's Bunny? There's running Bunny with huge clock, and he said, "I'm late. I'm always late. I'm late. I need to run faster." there is some kind of people who always say that they are overwhelmed, they are late, they are like struggling for everyone in this world. But if you will go on the level deeper, you will understand this person didn't commit any one single task for last year. Speaking about doing the task, 100%. Efficiency, zero. So these guys, you need to cut off from the team as soon as possible. They are very toxic. They grab a lot of attention on themselves. The people who are really like performers, they are not getting any attention, and that's a problem. Because I'm seeing in a lot of teams, like attention as a leader, it's like it's a coins. It's like the new currency. Who usually gets the attention? People who are not performing. People who are performing well, you will say, good job, goodbye, see you next time. That's all attention that they get. Like, it's the same, I don't know, you get like send them one cent. And then you come in with $100 to not do it, to bad performer, and start talking and just grabbing $100 every 10 minutes. No, it shouldn't be that way. So, for example, in my team, if person not performing, I'm sending a long video with a screencast how this task should be done and what to Google. Yep, if it's like second time question asked, the short time the task is not done. The first, I interpret it, not done task, it's equals to act of aggression against your leader or team lead or like your supervisor. You had like 1000 ways, 1000 times options to ask about this task, ask for the clarification, talk to the team and try to figure out. Maybe you lied in few lines in your CV, who knows, because like I can't imagine the situation where you were hired on the position, you have task assigned and you have no clue how to do it. To be honest, with like Google, ChatGPT, and all world knowledge in your hands. The second one, after this loom, if nothing happens, and person continue asking like really dumb questions, I'm using the website, let me Google it for you. It creates a GIF animation. It's very like, it's not it's not light, it's not polite, it's just showing like I'm entering in a Google exact phrase that you need to do. And the person said, oh, okay, it was obvious, probably I need to do my job better. And short time, in my case, there is no short time. So if we just can't find the common point, we can't work on the small thing, we can't work anymore. It doesn't make any sense because person used to work in different environments. I have a different speed and different expectations. We wouldn't match. And in my life, I understood it's not my task to match with every person in this world. It's my decision just to select the people with like I'm comfortable with, and that's okay. So answering on your question, if there is like something unclear and like to push team to like perform better, distinguish non-performers, remove blockers from people who are really at least trying to perform, and give more attention, even like nice conversation, something good to people who are really performing, not just neglect them. Don't keep them in silence, and they will perform more. If you will highlight not performers, like on the team meetings and say it like it's not okay, performers, they will say, yes, I know that he received that punishment. Yes, they will cheer up. And it's not about like put toxic communication or toxic environment. It's about fairness. It's like play games, like fair rules. You perform, you receive cookie. You're not performing, you receive like door pointer. That's all.
So many good things in there. Two I'll highlight. One is that I don't hear often at all, and I agree is super critical, is to give equal, if not more, time to the people who are performing well as to the people who are not performing to expectations. And the second is that not everyone is a perfect fit for your team, because they're not a perfect fit for the job you need them to do. They're not a perfect fit for your leadership style. They're not a perfect fit for the company. And that is okay. And it's not that everyone on your team needs to be a perfect fit, but we need to be perfect enough. Which isn't an absolute. You have to be 80%. And below that, then nope, you're not going to work here. Let's find you something else. Is the friction for you as the leader and you as the employee working with that leader, is that friction stimulating, neutral, or holding you back? If it's stimulating, great. You're both going to do amazing. If it's neutral, then great. You both are going to do a good job and it's all fine. If it's holding one or both of you back, then it might be worth doing some examination to understand where's that friction coming from? What can we do to ameliorate that? Because maybe we just need to inject a little more lubricant between us and then everything will smooth out and it's all great. It may be that we are both 800 grit sandpaper and we're rubbing against each other and that it's never going to get better until we rub each other raw, and that's not going to be fun for either of us. Plus, then we can't be sandpaper anymore. So we're not going to be effective. And in that case, it's going to be best for all of us if we help you find a different position. For people who would like to connect with you, Oksana, to have you come help with them on their UX challenges, or to talk more about the way that you lead and how you help the people you work with become more effective leaders, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
I'm trying to be consistent with my blogging in Twitter. Let's say it's a C grade. I will be transparent, but you always can write down in a DM, either on LinkedIn. You can find me, Oksana Kovalchuk. We'll put the link to my LinkedIn, and you also can drop me a message there. There is really me, and I'm reading all messages.
And you have a really nice discount for our listeners if they'd like to work with you.
Yeah, for everyone who struggling with bad user experience or with bad colors or seeing their business can perform better on some points and have no idea where is these friction points, where is the problems are, you can go to our website anoda.mobi, fill our contact form and put there small notes said uncommon leadership 2025, and it will mean that you will receive the discount of 10% of any of our services during our collaboration.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Guys, life is too short for bad UX, for bad user experience. Grab nice things. Don't eat that frustration that some things bring to you. Just skip it and find something better. There is always room for that.
There always is. And I'll extend that again. We're not talking just about UX on the computer here. There's also the UX with our relationship with each other. There's always a way to make that better. Thank you for this stimulating conversation today, Oksana.
Thank you too. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for this amazing conversation and talk.
And thank you, audience, for joining us today. Oksana and I would love to know, how are you making your UX with your team a little bit better today? Thanks and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.